Have you ever felt like your world was falling apart? Like everything you knew and loved was suddenly gone? That's exactly where we find a woman named Ruth. Her story starts with heartbreak. A devastating famine had forced her family to leave their home in Bethlehem and move to a foreign land called Moab. There, she married, building a new life, only to have it tragically cut short. Her husband died, so did her brother-in-law and her father-in-law. All that was left were three widows: Ruth, her sister-in-law Orpah, and their mother-in-law, Naomi. Naomi, whose name once meant pleasant, was now consumed by bitterness. She decided to return to her homeland, Bethlehem, and urged her daughters-in-law to go back to their own families. It was the sensible thing to do. They were young. They could remarry and find security. Orpah, with tears in her eyes, kissed Naomi goodbye and left. But Ruth clung to her. Naomi insisted, "Look, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth's response is one of the most powerful declarations of loyalty ever spoken. She said, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried." This wasn't just about family duty. This was a radical commitment. Ruth, a Moabite woman, was choosing to leave her country, her culture, and her gods to follow a grieving, destitute older woman into an uncertain future. She was choosing Naomi's people and Naomi's God. When the two women arrived in Bethlehem, they caused quite a stir. Naomi told everyone, "Don't call me Naomi. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter." They had nothing. It was the beginning of the barley harvest, and to survive, Ruth did something incredibly humble. She went to the fields to glean, to pick up the leftover grain that the harvesters had missed. This was a provision made for the poorest of the poor. She wasn't too proud to do what needed to be done to feed herself and Naomi. As it happened, the field she ended up in belonged to a wealthy and respected man named Boaz. He was a relative of Naomi's late husband. When Boaz came to his fields, he immediately noticed this new woman working diligently. He asked his foreman, "Who does that young woman belong to?" The foreman explained she was the Moabite woman who had come back with Naomi, and that she had worked tirelessly from morning till now. Boaz was moved. He went to Ruth and said, "Listen, my daughter, stay in my fields. Don't go glean anywhere else. Follow along with my female workers. I've told the men not to lay a hand on you. And whenever you are thirsty, go and get a drink from the water jars the men have filled." Ruth was stunned by his kindness. She bowed down and asked, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes that you notice me a foreigner?" Boaz replied, "I have been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with a people you did not know before. May the Lord repay you for what you have done." Boaz saw more than just a poor woman in his field. He saw her character. He saw her selfless love, her courage, and her loyalty. He recognized that she had taken refuge under the wings of the God of Israel, and he became an instrument of that divine protection. He not only let her glean but instructed his workers to intentionally pull out stalks of grain and leave them for her. That evening, Ruth returned to Naomi with an astonishing amount of grain. Naomi was amazed and asked where she had worked. When Ruth told her it was in the field of a man named Boaz, Naomi's hope was reignited for the first time in years. She realized that God had not abandoned them. Following Naomi's wise counsel, Ruth took another bold step of faith. In a culturally significant act, she approached Boaz at the threshing floor by night and asked him to be her kinsman redeemer, a protector who would marry her to preserve her late husband's family line. Boaz was deeply honored by her integrity. He praised her for not chasing after younger or richer men, but for seeking to honor her family. He promised to take care of everything. And he did. Boaz publicly and legally redeemed Ruth. He bought back Naomi's family land and took Ruth as his wife. The townspeople celebrated, blessing them. The story that began with emptiness and death now overflowed with fullness and life. Ruth, the foreign widow, gave birth to a son named Obed. The women of the town rejoiced with Naomi, saying, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer." Naomi, who had left Bethlehem empty, was now full, holding her grandson in her arms. But the story doesn't end there. This is where it gets even more amazing. Ruth's son, Obed, became the father of Jesse, and Jesse became the father of David, the great king of Israel. That's right, Ruth, the outsider from Moab, the woman who chose loyalty in the face of loss, became the great-grandmother of King David, and her name is one of only a few women listed in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. Her story shows us that no matter how dark our circumstances seem, acts of faith, loyalty, and love can change everything. God can take our greatest losses and turn them into a legacy of hope. He works through ordinary people who make extraordinary choices. Ruth's story is a beautiful reminder that our background doesn't define our future, and that with God, there's always a path to redemption. Thanks for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more.